Hey guys, so we are right in the middle of midsummer here in Southern California. And one of the things that I thought would be fun is to share some of my favorite summer recipes over the next couple of weeks. Many of these recipes have been inspired by my vegetable garden. A lot of you have asked me questions about this garden and wanting to know more about it. So I thought today would be a great opportunity to actually take you out there and show you what I'm growing. Now, if you want to know the story of this garden, because there is a bit of a backstory with some dramatic before and after pictures, you can click on the thumbnail above and there you will see my summer dinner party menu for Ken. At the top of that episode is a really great backstory of how this garden actually came to be. All right, so let's head outdoors. For this vegetable garden, I was really inspired by the vegetable gardens or potagers of France. When you travel in the Loire Valley, which is where my husband is from, you see a lot of these chateaus with beautiful vegetable gardens laid out in a very ornamental fashion. For me, I loved it because it was neat and tidy and still looked pretty. I didn't want a vegetable garden that looked overgrown and would become kind of a big eyesore, because I do see this garden from my kitchen window. So we divided the garden into 10 equal plots, or parterres as they're called. The parterres basically hold one type of vegetable. Sometimes I like to mix and match, but for the most part, I like to try to dedicate one specific vegetable to one parterre. Now we lined each parterre in boxwood. Boxwood is just a really beautiful hedge that likes to be clipped and makes the garden look a lot neater and tidier. It's also great in the winter time when there isn't much growing out there, because then the garden still will always look green. It was really important to me to be able to eat in this garden. I just love the idea of growing things and actually having a table where you can entertain and eat outdoors and enjoy all the fruits of your labor. So as you can see, in the center is a big table. I wanted to make sure that the table would be big enough to seat at least 10 people, but we have put extensions on each of those tables to fit 20, and that's quite a party for sure. So the first parterre I'm going to show you has some beets growing in it. I love to grow beets because they just have so much more flavor than the ones that you can buy in the store. And that's the thing that I love about gardening, that you will find that if you grow your own vegetables, they're so much more flavorful and fresh. And if you like to cook, you always want to make sure that you have the freshest ingredients available. Because imagine, these vegetables have not been sitting on a truck, traveling somewhere. They then don't sit in the store under fluorescent lights and get manhandled by everybody. When you're actually ready, you just pick them and you only have to walk a few steps into the kitchen. Then in my big planter under my window, I grow mint. Now here's the thing about growing mint. It's really aggressive and will completely take over anything that you put it in. I didn't realize this at first, and the planter used to be an assortment of herbs until the mint just completely took it over. So I decided, why fight it? I'll just go with it, and I pulled out all the other herbs and just let the mint have at it. Now mint does attract little bugs and aphids, and one of the things that I've learned to try to control that is by releasing some ladybugs. So at your local nursery, you'll see usually in a refrigerated section, they'll sell little ladybugs. You release those ladybugs and by the morning, those aphids are all gobbled up. They're the best pest control. Then in little planters, I also have some kumquat trees. I love to keep a variety of citrus growing at all times because they fruit at different times of the year. I love kumquats because they're bitter on the inside and sweet on the outside, the reverse of an orange, so you actually do eat the rind. You just pop them in your mouth all at once and it's the most amazing flavor combination. One of the things I really believe in growing my own vegetables is to make it organic. I don't like to buy produce that has pesticides on it, so why grow it with the pesticides? So as you'll see as we go through, I'll give you all of my tips for counteracting bugs and all kinds of pests with just natural organic methods. Now, the crowning glory of this garden are my tomatoes. I really am greedy when it comes to tomatoes. At the beginning of the season, I set out and I think, okay, I'm going to keep it under control. I'm going to limit myself to 3 or 4 plants, and it always ends up being 8, 9, or 10. I end up having so many tomatoes that I have to actually give them away to friends just because I love a great homegrown tomato, and so does everybody else. One of the things that I've learned about tomatoes is that you have to really put them in planters. They are weeds at the end of the day, and they will also take over a garden. So I love to put them in planters and then use what is called a tomato cage. It makes them really architectural and just gives some wonderful height to your garden. It also gives them something to train themselves up against. They really need the support, and a tomato cage is the way to go. And when it comes to tomatoes, I really love all of those sort of what they call ugly tomatoes. They're all the heirloom varieties. An heirloom variety is a tomato, or any vegetable really, that's been around for over 100 years. Now, not the plant itself, the actual seed. So the seed has been in constant production for over 100 years, and I love that. I mean, imagine eating a tomato that somebody ate over 100 years ago. I just think it's so terrific. Now, if pests move in, and they do strike, and one of the biggest enemies to a tomato plant is the hornworm. It looks like a little green caterpillar. Now, one of my tips for battling this little creature is to use some cornmeal or some polenta. Just sprinkle it on the leaves and in and around the plant, and the hornworm will come, it'll munch on it, and it'll kind of disturb its digestive system. I know, nature is not kind, but it does make it disappear and they will not come back. Then I also love to grow a selection of fresh herbs. I have some rosemary, some thyme, and then I love to grow a selection of basils. Right now I have a purple ruffle basil growing, which I love. It has a beautiful licorice taste to it, and it just looks so beautiful in a salad. Then I've got the traditional green basil, and then I also have some wonderful lemon basil. Now the trick with basil is it really loves to be pinched. In fact, the more you use it, the more it's gonna grow. But when you start to see those little seeds, the little flowering pops up, that means that the plant is at the end of its life cycle. And you really want to clip that off because you don't want that plant to go to seed on you. And then the other thing I have growing there are some nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are actually an edible flower. And as you know, as the mom of 2 girls, when I told my daughters there was such a thing as edible flowers, we just had to try it. So I love to put them in freshly tossed salads. They make for a beautiful garnish, and they're also delicious. They have a wonderful mustard, almost peppery taste to them. They're also wonderful to drop into a cocktail as well. Then on the other side of the garden, I have things that need a little bit more shade, like lettuce. So lettuce, it likes a lot of sunlight, but it doesn't like a lot of heat. Now in and among my lettuce, you can see that I have some marigolds growing. This is another solution for organic gardening to keep the aphids away. This is what's known as companion gardening. Companion gardening takes the principle of taking 2 plants that actually grow really well together and help fight off diseases and pests for each other. And when it comes to lettuce, a marigold is its best friend. I tell my daughters that these are the bodyguards of the lettuce, and my lettuce has never looked better. Now the one thing to know about lettuce is when it gets hot, and it has been very hot here, it will have a tendency to bolt. Bolt means that the lettuce starts to actually grow all the way upwards. And you'll see I've left one plant so that you guys could see what that is. And when it gets like that, you want to actually cut it down. One of the things that's so great about lettuce is that it's self-regenerating. So as you can see, I have a few small plants, and you can see the leaves are starting to grow again, and it'll actually turn into another head of lettuce. Then the other thing that I have growing is eggplant. I love to grow eggplant. It's so great to make fresh baba ganoush or eggplant parmesan, and it's a really easy vegetable to grow. I actually don't have any fruit at the moment, but you can see my plants are very healthy. They're looking good. They just started to flower, and probably in the next 2 weeks or so, I'll start to see some fruit. And then I also love to grow garlic. You can actually just go to the grocery store, buy some organic garlic, peel it, get the raw garlic, and then you'll see at the end, you'll see where the little root is. That's the part that you actually want to insert into the dirt. Cover it up, and in a few weeks it will sprout and will turn into a beautiful garlic plant. The other thing you want to know about garlic is to stagger the planting of it. Because if you plant it all at the same time, it's all going to be ready at the same time, and can you imagine? Then you're going to have to find a use for 50 bulbs of garlic. So I like to stagger it about once every week. I'll just keep planting new cloves, and then that way I have a fresh supply of garlic pretty much all year round. You'll know that a garlic plant is ready to be harvested when you see the leaves turn brown. Once that turns brown, you can pull it up out of the ground and you'll have a little garlic bulb. You're going to snip off the plant, and then you want to let that little garlic bulb dry out. I have a little one that I just picked a few days ago that's actually drying out on my windowsill. It's a small little guy, and I think that I probably need to have my garlic stay in the ground for a bit longer to get it to be bigger, but I was pretty impressed by my first little garlic bulb of the season. Then the other thing that I like to grow are peppers. So I have what I call a little pepper patch. And in the pepper patch, I have some bell peppers. Then I also have all my spicy peppers. Right now I've got some serranos, jalapenos, and some spicy Thai peppers. I love to use these peppers for salsas or for curries. It's really great just to add a little bit of heat when you need it. Now the secret to gardening is also timing. If you think that you're going to want a pumpkin or a butternut squash in October, you need to actually plant it now in July, because some of these varieties can take upwards of 100 days to actually bear fruit. So in one parterre, I have some butternut squash growing, which I'm really excited about. I love butternut squash in the fall and into the winter time. It's so delicious. And in the other parterre, I'm growing some little pumpkin pie pumpkins. My daughter is really excited about pumpkin pie and pumpkin bread, so I said this year we're going to actually grow the pumpkins ourselves. Then I also have 2 strawberry plants that are doing quite well this year. In the past, I've put strawberries in the ground, and they actually don't do as well. Their fruit tends to get wet, and you get a lot of critters that come up and nibble on the fruit. So this year I took the advice of my nursery and put them in strawberry pots. Strawberry pots are just terracotta pots that have little holes in and around the side, and you basically buy your strawberry plants and plant them in the holes, and it has really worked out well. The plants have a lot of room to grow, they have space in and around their leaves, and I've started to get a few tiny strawberries, so I think I'm getting success. So there you have it, that's the tour. That about sums up the vegetable garden for this year. Now the appetizer recipe that I want to share with you today, I love because most of the ingredients come right from my garden. When we have drop-in guests, all I need to do is run out and get some bread. It's my cherry tomato bruschetta with 2 types of basil. So here's how you make it. You're going to take some red cherry tomatoes and some yellow cherry tomatoes. You're then going to cut them in half. It just makes them easier to eat that way. You're then going to drizzle with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and then I like to add my purple ruffle basil and my traditional green basil. Now, if you can't find purple basil at the store, sometimes that can be hard to find in a large supermarket. You can sometimes find it at farmers markets. I do see it there quite often. Or you can just use all green basil. That would work too. In a small bowl, you're going to combine some olive oil, some garlic, salt and pepper, and some fresh flat leaf parsley. You're then going to brush this olive oil onto your bread on both sides. Then on a grill pan or a barbecue, set on medium-high heat, you're going to grill each piece of bread on both sides. Then arrange your slices on a platter and then spoon those beautiful tomatoes on top. And you will see, you will have one delicious-looking summertime appetizer that I think goes quite well with a chilled rosé. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of the garden. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. And if you don't grow your own vegetables, that is okay. You can find all of these ingredients at your local supermarket. But if you do want to support homegrown vegetables that are organic, definitely visit your local farmer's market. Those farmers work so hard to grow such beautiful produce for all of us that I always like to make sure everybody's supporting their local market. I hope you guys give it a try and let me know what you think. And I'll see you back here next week when I'm going to share with you one of my favorite summertime dinners, my grilled chicken brochettes with grilled zucchini. I'll see you then.